So today I'm going to be doing a video discussing brand new dragons in Fairy Tail. Now, Fairy Tail, we've known that dragons, they've been a pivotal point in the series for crying out loud. Our main character's father is a dragon, Natsu, and we know that the main goal for him was basically to find Neil. And then we know that all the other first generation Dragon Slayers, they have dragons that are their quote unquote parents too. And we all know about the historic date, July 7th, year 777, the seventh month of the year, just so many sevens. I think that's like 5 or 6 sevens. And we know that all the dragons, they ended up disappearing. Spooky, because they just disappeared out of nowhere, and all of them were like, okay, what happened? And then we later on find out that they did disappear, but they didn't necessarily go away. They went inside the Dragon Slayers and they basically created antibodies so they didn't turn into dragons, which that was one of the biggest plot twists ever, because Natu, this whole time, he was searching around for Igneal. He was going all these different places when in reality, all he had to do was just look inside of himself and Igneal would have been there. But no, on a serious note, that's when we find out about the truth behind the dragons. Then we find out about Acnologia, on how he was a human that got turned into a dragon. A lot of people, they believe the whole thing when it comes to Acnologia bathing in the dragon's blood. But to me personally, I think that was just a myth. I think that was just something that was thought of because they didn't really know why he turned into a dragon. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure that he did bathe in the blood of dragons. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying that I think that was a myth, and the real reason why he turned into a dragon was because we know that Acnologia, he didn't really have a side. He hated humans and dragons. He didn't want to be classified as any of them. So he killed off dragons too. And I also do think that Acnologia, while he was going on his little killing spree, his like 10 kill streak, he did end up killing off his teacher. And that's why he got turned into a dragon, because unlike Natsu, Gagio, Wendy, Sting, and Rogue, his dragon couldn't go inside of him and create antibodies. So that's why I believe that Acnologia turned into a dragon. Not because he bathed in the blood of 1,000 dragons, or I don't know, I just don't believe in that. But with that being said, the dragons, like I said, they've had a huge role in Fairy Tail. And with this recent chapter, Fairy Tail chapter 514, man, we find out even more about them. Now, for starters, this was my favorite chapter of the year, simply because me personally, I've always been interested in the whole flashback arc, like just everything revolving around the history of Fairy Tail. I've just been so excited and so interested to learn about it. And now that we finally get to see some of it, we know that the whole thing with Elaine and how they have a dragon that's basically indebted to them. Listen, I know I'm gonna butcher the name. I know some people in the comment section, they're trying to tell me how to say it, but they even separated the name into little syllables. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna still butcher it, so be ready. Belergion, I just can't say it. I don't know why, but no, on a serious note, we know about the dragon, the Belusian dragon, and that was basically the sage dragon. And one of the biggest things I took away from that chapter is that just the civilization, that was just so dope, seeing the humans and the dragons living together. Because throughout the series of Fairy Tail, there's been two sides of dragons. We've seen dragons that hated humans and dragons that actually loved them. And besides the main ones like a Neo, Metallicana, the ones that actually raised the humans, all the other ones hated them. And you can even make an argument that the one who really like loved humans the most was probably like Grandini and Igneo. So those are the only two that we saw that actually loved humans. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Metallicana, like, he wanted to destroy and kill humans, but he never really showed it. It was more Grandini and Igneo that were more compassionate towards humans that we actually saw. Some was Skydream and White Slogia here and there, but they were only really like friendly towards their kind. Although White Slogia, he did seem like that. White Slogia and Skydream, they didn't really seem like they were evil. But the fact that we finally got to see dragons chilling with humans, that's what actually made my day. Because even though it was already confirmed that dragons and humans lived together a long time ago, I just wanted to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just wanted to see it drawn out. But we find out about the dragons in the West. Yes, the West Side dragons. Those guys are some savages, because apparently they're eating humans. They're doing all these crazy things to them. They're just killing them. And a lot of people on the Ishgard side, they're like, okay, what's wrong with these dragons? Like, why are they doing this? We know this is what eventually led up to the Dragon King Festival. And to be honest, we saw that the dragons on the good side, they were getting demolished. Like, they were getting pushed back, everything. They were dropping out in forces. Like, this made me believe that the dragons on the west side, maybe since because like they were more savage and they were like just doing their own thing, that's why they're stronger. Because I'm not trying to make this sound like, this might sound a little bit weird, but what if since they were just like always fighting, like they were always like getting stronger, always, I guess it's a form of training, like improving. Whereas the dragons on Ishgar's side, since they're always like kind and everything, they didn't really like do too much fighting, so therefore they didn't get weak, but they didn't get as stronger as the one on the west side would, if you know what I'm saying. But back to the whole Dragon King Festival thing. The most interesting thing about that is that granted, I know that this flashback isn't over, but we still even haven't seen the dragons that were actually putting in work. Because I'm gonna be honest, the Beleriand dragon, the Sage dragon, he looks top tier. I mean, he does not look fodder. Hell, he was one of the only dragons highlighted, so I don't think that this was just some fodder dragon. That guy looks pretty strong. So the fact that him and all his comrades are getting pushed back, it's something interesting to look at. And speaking about dragons of the west side, I just gotta say, here's my little theory. I believe that Acnologia, there's a possibility that he could have came from that side, because the west side, that just fits Acnologia's description perfectly. I mean, savages that are killing humans, killing everybody. That's a perfect fit for Acnologia. I mean, maybe he did come from over there, maybe he didn't, but I'm just saying that it would make sense if he did come over there, because he didn't like humans and he didn't like dragons. The only thing is that maybe the only flaw that I could see in Acnologia coming from the west side is the fact that he was actually helping the dragon. So that's the only thing that I can see from there. But yeah, that's my whole theory on Acnologia. Now, when it comes to Acnologia, I also have another theory. And I know some people, they might be thinking, wait, so you just going to name another theory from Acnologia? Yeah, like I said, on this channel, this chapter alone, it brought me so many different speculations. And I'm not the type of person who only thinks of one theory and only sticks with that. No, I'm going to have multiple different speculations about different things. So while I did say that was one of my speculations about Acnologia's past, this is also another speculation that I have on how, basically how Acnologia came to be. Now, I know a lot of people, they aren't going to be a fan of this part of the theory, but I believe that there's a possibility that Elaine could have trained Acnologia. Now, I know some people, they might be thinking, okay, this doesn't make sense. Why? Like, some people are just ready to go rage mode, but hear me out. Granted, I do know that one of the biggest flaws in this theory, or in the speculation, is they had an encounter and there was no type of like, there's no type of like slick remarks made about their past or anything. And I'm pretty sure that either one of them, if they actually did have an encounter in the past, if either one of them did do that, then they want to forget each other that quickly. So that's one of the major flaws. But on the other hand, we also do find out about what happened to the people who trained Elaine, or the people who were trained by Elaine. Basically, they began turning into dragons, and you had two people. Either one, they ended up losing their mind, just going crazy, or two, they just ended up like straight up going on complete rage mode. They're just destroying everything. And Acnologia seems like that he will fit inside that category of the people who just went rage mode. I mean, even though, like I said, the second theory has a lot of flaws, I still do think it's interesting, and it would be kind of dope if these two did actually come out and have some type of connection with each other, because Elaine's seen as the queen of dragons, the princess, or yeah, basically the queen of all dragons, and Acnologia is seen as the king. So that would be dope. Now, I know some people, they're finally wondering, what are you talking about when you're saying brand new dragons? Because this video, I've been discussing a lot about the recent chapter of Fairy Tail and the dragons in general. Like I said, dragons are just my favorite thing to discuss, but like I said, one of the favorite things that I took away from this chapter is that we could be getting brand new dragons. No, matter of fact, we are going to get brand new dragons. Hell, we just saw with this latest chapter. First of all, I would like to know a little bit more about the Beleriand dragon. We did get to see him in action, and he was pretty cool, but I think there's definitely still more to his past than what we've seen. Don't get me wrong, we did see a little bit of him, but I want to know the stuff like how he was indebted. Like, I just want to see it. You know what I'm saying? I just want to see it. I don't know if we're going to see it. I don't know 100% if Hiro Marshall is actually going to show us, but I think it would be dope if he did show it to us, because it'll just be more expansion and more character development on this dragon that seemed to be one of the most important ones back in the day. Now, speaking of the expansion of dragons, the West Side dragons, yes, we need to see all of them. Well, not okay, not all of them. That was an understatement, but we need to see the most important ones because think about it like this: if the dragons on the human side, if they had somebody that was that capable of doing what they did, then why couldn't we see one from the evil side? Because let's just say that there's a lead, like a mid or Beleriand. I'm pretty sure that he was the leader of the dragons on the Ishkar side. So what if there was the same thing for the dragons on the evil side? Maybe it could be some type of connection with Acnologia. I don't know, but I can't wait to see what type of dragons are on the west side because I think it'll be dope. And also speaking about dragons on the west side, this brings in new type of dragons abilities. Now, we do know that there's so far we have fire, we have wind, we have metal, we have darkness, and we have light. Those are the 5 dragons that we've seen so far. And then we even see some back in the Grand Magic games. We saw with the whole dragon that was like obsessed with taking off clothes and all those. So we saw even more dragons. But this time, I think that we can finally be able to see some elemental dragons, more of the elements that people want to see. For example, like water. I know that water, a lot of people they speculate that Acnologia has the water ability. Me personally, I don't necessarily believe that because if you're the king of dragon, that seems so underwhelming. I'm gonna be honest. Like that's just like no. Like I just can't get down with that. Like if you're the king of dragons, then you better have something, some type of element that's just like out of this world. It can't just be something as simple as water. Now, granted, I'm not saying that water is weak or anything, but if you're the king of dragon, I just expect you to have more. I don't know. That's just me. And speaking of more elements, we could also see stuff like a rock dragon. Now, we did kind of see one back in the Grand Magic games, although he didn't really use like rock techniques. He was basically called a rock dragon because of like his appearance and like his I guess you could say like how he was shaped and everything, but he didn't really use like rock magic. So maybe we could see a rock slash earth dragon. I know that's been a huge fan favorite when it comes to Dragon Slayer elemental ability. So there's a possibility that we could see that, and I think that'll be dope because yeah, that's just more elements, and it'll kind of remind me of like earth bending from Avatar. I don't know if it's just me, but I also think that'll be dope. And we could also see the Etherian dragon. Now, speaking of this, I actually believe that Acnologia does have that ability, the Etherian Dragon Slayer. But if Acnologia doesn't, this is just me saying, this is me, if he doesn't have it, let's be honest, because it hasn't been confirmed yet. That's just my theory. But if Acnologia doesn't have Etherius Dragon Slayer magic, then I definitely think that somebody in the West Side has to have it. Because think about it like this: Etherius, all that stuff, that's like the chakra, that's like the key of the fairy tale world. And I think that there has to be somebody that has to have an ability like that because think about it, Etherius Nashi Dragneel, he's basically made out of Etherian. So we have one for that. And it would be dope if we had the Etherius Dragon Slayer. Now granted, that would be super OP because like I said, it exists in basically everybody. Etherian, like that would just be on some next level shit. So if there is an Etherian dragon, he would definitely have to be like at the top. Like he would have to be strong, the strongest, if not one of the strongest. Hell, I don't, like I said before, I don't know if a lot of people have heard me say this, but I've said that if Acnologia is an Etherius Dragon Slayer, then he's had to learn it from like the strongest guy, and that's why he was able to take him out. So yeah, that's my whole thought on the dragons from the other side, from the west side. Now, I know that I've been rambling on about dragons a lot. And I know some people they might be thinking, okay, you're just obsessed at this point, but I honestly cannot wait till we see more of the dragons from Fairy Tail. What do you guys think? Are you guys excited for Fairy Tail chapter 515? Because we're going to get more insight on it. I just can't wait. Comment what you guys see down below. Subscribe if you haven't. Peace out.